What's up, you damn gorgeous and beautiful gamers, and welcome back to Role-Playing James. This is Muriel Corner in the internet, where we like to discuss about RPGs, mainly about RPGs, occasionally about the occasional video game. Elden Ring, it's almost here, my brethren. One of the most anticipated games, if not the most anticipated games. It's almost here. I can almost smell it. Grasp it. Anyways, today we're going to be speaking about guides. Guys, do remember that these guides are focused for new players to teach you guys how to properly make your characters, how do the mechanics of the Souls games work, and basically how do I build proper characters. And this time around we're going to be building a faith character. But before though, let us differentiate why do I want a faith character, because that is a huge and important decision that you need to ponder before making a character. Before you make a build, before you make a character, you need to know what are you going to be using that character for. And many people believe that miracles are just another variant for spells, for sorceries. Now let me tell you, each kind of spell, branch, tree in Souls games, they have a personality. They have a usage. Sorceries, for example, you would use them to deal as much damage as you can from a safe distance. And that is what people believe that miracles can do. And that is not the case. Well, it was actually the case in Dark Souls 2 original launch. Pardon me if I am digressing a little bit, but back in the launch of Dark Souls 2, a properly built cleric could dish tremendous amounts of damage with Great Lightning Spear from a distance, and then from soft, they got wind of this, and then they patched it just little few days after the launch. But anyways, enough with the digressing, let's get back to the main topic. Remember that each kind of spell on Dark Souls, each kind of spell tree has a very specific function. Think of miracles in Souls games as you would from a Paladin. Paladin and clerics, yes, Paladin and clerics. What is a Paladin? A Paladin is a mighty warrior that strikes with all of his might and all of his strength, emboldened by the power that they gain from the divinity, from heavens. And that is essentially the very same thing that you will do on Dark Souls and Elden Ring, of course. Elden Ring has more variety on the spells, but you will notice in here that the spells that I have as a... oh, goddamn. I have the wrong spells allocated in here. Wait a little moment, please, sir, if you would be so kind, so I can show you properly what do I use with this kind of characters. Yes, there we go. We are ready to move on forward. As I was saying, all of the spells that I use as a cleric require me to be at a fairly close distance from the enemy, except with the exception of this one, but not really. Now let me tell you why not really. So then, let us speak about the personality and how do I use the specific spells. Take the Sunlight Spear for example. Let me showcase you right now, real fast, the damage of it, which is quite an amazing damage. If I attack my enemy from a distance, oh dear. That's not proper showcase. If I attack my enemy from a distance, I will deal 900 damage. Which is not bad. It really is not that bad at all. But do remember that we are paladins, we are warriors. We strike from point blank on the enemy. So what if I get close to him and then I attack precisely point blank? Did you see that? Double the damage. So that is the personality of this kind of spells. With this kind of spells, to be able to be dealing the most amazing damage that you can possibly deal, you have to be point blank with the enemy, as you can see right here. This is an area of effect like that, and it's a very good one, because it attacks all of the enemies in front of me and behind me, all around me. So, as you notice, when I am playing a cleric, a fate build on Souls games, I want to be fighting my enemy from point blank. I want to be close to the enemy. I am going to be dealing disgusting amounts of damage, but opposite to the Sorcerer, which attacks from a distance, with this kind of characters, fate characters, you want to be up close. That is likely going to be the same case on Elden Ring, because FromSoft wants to differentiate the personality between all of these spells. Sorcerers attack from a distance. Paladins, Warriors of Light, Warriors of Sunlight attack from point blank. They are warriors. They embolden their spells. So now let us speak about precisely their spells. And how do I use them? How do I use them properly? How do I build a Paladin? But before that, I forgot, there is yet another way that you can use this kind of characters. Fate characters, opposite to sorcerers, which are purely damaging classes, they can be supports and healers. And you could very well, if you wanted to, if you so desired to, you could very well be a, let's say, a cleric, a full healer for your friends, and you could totally do so. But many of the spells that I have right here, they enhance my capabilities of dealing damage as a warrior. Like I said, take for example, Deep Protection, which enhances my physical attack, and also increases my stamina regeneration, as well as Sacred Oath that gives me defense against physical attacks, but also increases my damage. And I have also spells like Great Magic Barrier, which increases, as you can see right here, it's right here, greatly increase magic damage absorption with coating. So as you can see, a Paladin buffs himself to fight against the enemy. But more than that, a faith build on Dark Souls is going to help your party. Because as you can see, as you will read right here, boost attack and damage absorption for self and vicinity. Sacred Oath increases your attack, your damage absorption for your friends as well as for yourself. So you are buffing your friends. But also let's say that, for example, you are on a boss fight and your friends run out of heals. And maybe you are the healer of the party. Someone else has the aggro of the boss. And when someone needs healing, you are just standing in there with this spell. As soon as someone comes to you, as soon as someone needs healing, you tell them, come close to me. And then you release and instantly cast a healing spell. Now, Soothing Sunlight, it heals at a very, very wide range. Great Heal, for example, it heals your friends, but they have to be much, much closer to you. The range of this spell, while it is still substantial, they do need to be really, really close to you. So if you wanted to focus your build on a support character that buffs the party while they fight and then provides some attacks as well, because remember that you want to be attacking as well, but not really using your FP, your mana, on spells, but rather use your physical prowess to fight the enemy, and when the party needs to buff them with Sacred Oath, and when someone needs healing, you can very, very well heal them. So a Fate build is that. You could, if you want to use spells, offensive spells, to remember that you're going to have to be a warrior. You're going to have to be point blank with the enemy. Opposite again to sorceries. Sorceries deal tremendous amounts of damage, but only that. They deal damage from a distance, and that's it. That is a sorcerer. So that's it. Now let's take a look at how do I build a Fate character. Ideally, you want to have 60 Fate. Remember that the soft cap, both in Elden Ring and Souls games, this has already been confirmed. In Elden Ring, the soft cap of the stat growth is going to be on 60. As soon as you get to 60, it starts to deplete and you don't actually get the most out of the stat that you're investing. But also attunement. Attunement is the very same thing as memory from Elden Ring. It gives you FP, which is mana. And it is hugely important that you have knowledge about this, because I've seen people that think that it is useless to raise it up from 20, let's say, because of the attunement slots that they give you on Souls games. Arguably, in Souls games, people likes to have like 3 slots just for 3 spells. But remember that it also gives you mana. That is hugely important, because it's going to determine how many spells of those are you going to be able to cast. And also do remember that your mana is very, very, very important. You have your flasks. In Elden Ring you also have flasks to heal that mana that you're missing. You want enough of that so that when you use your flasks, you want to ensure that you're regaining as much mana as possible. Right here, you'll notice that I have nearly depleted all of my mana. That flask is going to give me a certain amount of FP, focus points. When I drink it, you'll notice that it goes nearly all the way up. That ensures that I am getting the most out of my FP. So as you notice, at least in Dark Souls, and probably it's going to be the same case on Elden Ring, 30 points in attunement gives me enough so that I do not waste any of my flasks that give me focus point. Imagine that I had, like, let's make an example like this. Imagine for one moment that the missing part of the focus points, that's all that I have. Ignore for a little moment that I have more. Imagine that that's all that I have. When I use this, it reaches the top, but I'm not actually consuming everything that it could possibly give me. So remember, when you play Souls games, you want to be taking care of your resources. So you want to be able to spend all of your focus points and get them back from one sip of your flask. Also, if I went higher than this, if I went much higher than 30 and tried to sip a flasks, I would probably have to sip 2 of them. But what is the point? What is the point of having to sip 2 of them if I can replenish it completely with just 1? By sipping 2 of them, I'm just wasting time that I could be using by attacking, so on and so forth. So, as you can see, it is very important to how do you use your resources on this kind of games. On the other stats, you notice that I have 40 points on dexterity. That's for my weapon. There are 3 possible ways that you can build your character on Elden Ring, your Fate character. Let's say that you are mainly a kind of warrior and you do not kind of cast that many spells. You could change that dexterity for strength and use heavier armor, because remember that in Elden Ring, strength is going to give you heavier armor. So ideally, you would place those points that I have on dexterity onto strength. That way, you will have a strength scaling weapon. You will also have enough weight ratio to use heavy armor and still be a damn good paladin or cleric, in that case, if you want to be a cleric. But if you decide to go to the dexterity kind of path, kind of branch, you would have to aggressively be using spells, because remember that in Elden Ring we use dexterity to increase my casting speed, to decrease my casting speed, I'm sorry. So the most dexterity that I have, the faster that I am going to be casting my spells. And last but not least, the Pure Fate build. That is not to say that with the Pure Fate build you're going to invest those points again into Fate, because they should very much be better off in some other places like Endurance, for example. You would be able to raise that higher up. Or bigger, for example, you would be able to raise it higher up, maybe to 50, which is ideal, because 50 and 60, like I said, is the soft cap, so that's the higher possible stats that you can have. As soon as you reach those kind of thresholds, that's when you can start investing beyond 60 intelligence. But do remember, it is hugely important that you do remember that you're not going to get that huge of an augment when it comes to damage by going higher than 60 on Fate. Also, I forgot to mention in my last build, rings. In this specific build, you will notice that I have boost for miracles, boost for electric damage, and Havel's ring, that's one of my favorites, and also Ring of Favor, that's one of my favorite because it increases HP, stamina, and maximum equip load. It's just an amazing ring. In Elden Ring, we're not going to have rings. We're going to have talismans. So far, we know that we're going to have 2 slots, one by default, and one once you defeat another one once you defeat a certain specific boss. And I likely doubt that we're going to be able to get more talisman slots than that, because, well, on Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 we already had 2 slots for accessories, so I think we're going back to that. So in that case, you want to be focusing on things that improve your build. For example, if that would be the case, I would get rid of Havel's, I would get rid of Ring of Favor, because those are bonuses. The ones that inherently increase my effectiveness of my build is boost miracles and increase lightning damage. Paladins have always been seen as something that fights against undead. In this case, paladins or clerics in Dark Souls, they fight against dragons. Dragons are hugely weak to lightning, and I'm guessing that's likely going to be the same case for Elden Ring. Also, it seems that pyromancies are the new... they are miracles on Elden Ring, but they're still likely going to be scaling from intelligence, from quality builds for intelligence and Fate. Even when they're miracles and they're not sorceries anymore, they are just pyromancies. So pyromancies should be called as what they are, pyromancies. And they are a subject for another video, but since we do not have that much knowledge about pyromancies on Elden Ring, I am going to be making guides for that as soon as Elden Ring comes out. That being said, that was all from me, guys. I hope that you find the video useful, I hope that you find the information useful, and remember that if no one has told you today that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person, then you are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Have a beautiful day, stay safe out there. I'll see you guys in the next one.